At the IDT, I mentioned that she really wanted to go to the beach. And she said, Carmen, that's where I want to go. That's where I want to go before I die. She said, can you make it happen for me? And I went back to the IDT team and I told them, I said, we gotta make this happen. So we put our heads together and we looked at all the resources that we had, and long story short, we made it happen for her.
IDT team is basically a group of caregivers, usually, again, a nurse or nurses, home health aides, social workers, volunteers, chaplains, and a physician or physicians. And it's the responsibility of that group of people to meet every 2 weeks and to discuss each of the patients that we're caring for, to discuss the problems and the challenges that the patients and the families are having, and then to develop a plan of care that's specific to that patient and to that family.
And the goal is to have a group that will meet all the needs of the patient and the patient's family. That includes medical responsibilities, and that includes counseling, and that includes just TLC.
I go home in the afternoon and find out I hope someone day to go better, to give them a laugh, a smile, to give them something that they can look forward to. We have patients that, well, really, can you take me out on my deck? I've had a stroke, but can you get me out there? Sure, you get out there. Really, can you take me down by my pool? Sure, you get out there. And I try to stay physically in shape so I can do my job.
The chaplain has many roles. We minister to the family. Part of the pastoral position is to have compassion, and compassion comes from a Greek word that means to walk alongside.
My responsibility is to be there for the family, and that's where I felt like I gave the most and was used the most and helped them the most. You know, there were times when people in the family needed to go out and do things, or they just needed somebody to sit with them, or maybe just give them a hug. You know, and that was the kind of thing I did.
I've worked for years in family practice and in indigent care, and I loved that type of care. But there's something very special about being allowed to help families and patients through the most difficult time, perhaps, in their life.
We're able to collaborate on what we have seen and what we feel is going on with that patient. And so by putting this together, we're able to form a plan of care that will take care of that patient and that family's needs.
Like sometimes if I have a problem, I will go to another nurse and we can discuss the problem that my patient might be having, and they might have some other suggestions that could be good for them.
We discuss each patient. Each patient is an individual, and we treat them as such.
Each one of those members of the team has significant input. When we have our meetings, everybody's on equal footing. There's no hierarchy, and the input that each person has is extremely valuable. Recently we had a young gentleman, 34 years old, with a young wife and a 5-year-old child. We were caring for the patient in the home for quite some time, but that became increasingly difficult, and the family was no longer able to do that. We were able to keep the patient comfortable, able to address all the family needs, and his passing was very peaceful and very meaningful for the family. And I think that one touched my heart recently, again, because of the age of the patient and the young child involved.
But if you think that about what you're doing while that person is alive and all the things that you're doing for that person, it makes it all worthwhile.